Hello, everybody out there in the internet. This is Trioptical and TigerFox from Aimless Podcasts. We're here to tell you about the last month of PlayStation Plus. Since this is the first one, dang it. We
don't. Obviously, this is the first one, so there will be a few technical difficulties,
and like presentational difficulties, as the brain fart just showed you.
I've been having them all week.
But yeah, this is this is all about PlayStation Plus. Sony's recently introduced pay-for service. TigerFox, you want to give us a brief intro as to what it is?
So PlayStation Plus, it's not a mandatory thing. It's more like a sort of incentive program is the way I like to look at it. You get bonuses with your paid subscription, whether it be 3 months or annually, and those bonuses differ, on whatever's released every other week. It comes out on a bi-weekly basis every 2 weeks, and that ranges from exclusive games, themes, and avatars to demos, videos, things like that. I don't know if we have any videos yet, but there are at least free games that you get every month, and minis and things like that. So it's very neat, and we think it's a good value. It really is, and a lot of people are on the fence about whether or not they should subscribe to it and shell out that much money for it. So we're going to show you a few things that it has going on there.
Yeah, I'd probably definitely say that it's not for everyone. But if you're interested in broadening your gaming experiences for actually not that much money a year, it's a pretty good deal.
It is.
TigerFox mentioned free games. Just gonna jump into those this month. We had 2 minis, 1 PlayStation Network game, and 1 PS1 Classic. Start off with the minis. This one I thought was pretty good. Aero Racers.
Aero Racer. It's a fun little game. It's what would you say it's in the vein of? There are similar games to it.
I guess I've heard it described as sort of Wipeout HD, but from a top-down view.
Yeah, 2D.
Yeah, it has a lot of sort of interesting little gameplay mechanics.
Very interesting physics.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'll tell you, the first thing that struck me was that it felt very polished.
Mm-hmm.
It was not actually the first mini I played. So I was sort of going through them, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know about these. And then I got to Aero Racers and like, wow, this feels like, graphics notwithstanding, it feels like it could have been a retail release back in the old days.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not bad, yeah.
It shows that they put some time and effort into it. It's a pretty great game, especially since it's free.
Yeah, I really like the grind mechanic where you sort of push off on the wall, and you'll probably see that in a video here.
Yes, absolutely.
See, it's grinding around.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's really hard to pull off all those grinds, and some like the
Yeah.
harder or more advanced difficulty levels. It's ridiculous. Like if the only way to beat it is if you grind on every single surface that's going around. I came close several times, like by 1 second. The races are timed, or most of them are, and if you don't grind just right, it can mess you up, and that's where the crazy physics come into play to make it a little bit more difficult and very challenging. But it's a fun game, and since it's free, I mean it's worth playing.
Yeah, especially it's nice for owners of both the PS3 and the PSP because the minis work on both of them. So you're getting kind of 2 games for one for no money. So Air Racers, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Next up, Vampires. It's also a PlayStation Mini. You haven't played much of this one?
I haven't played it at all.
Okay. It's essentially a Bejeweled type game where you have to match up different shapes. But you match them up, and then they disappear, and then you just have more and more blocks. And
Right.
I guess what makes it unique is that they have these boss characters, and you don't actually fight them. What happens is the boss character will occasionally just cover the screen and then appear in front of you, and then you can't see what blocks you're turning.
Oh,
Or
that's
some of the other bosses, they'll like cover all of the blocks, and they'll all have little question marks on them. And then yeah, it's like they just mess with you. You don't actually, there's no really any conflict with them.
I don't like
that. Yeah, it's it's sort of, it feels, I guess, a little cheap. The game, the way it's made anyway. I think my first thought was, people don't realize that it's actually really difficult to make a good puzzle game. And you can throw in these gimmicks, and then some parts are kind of cool. Like in addition to the bosses, they also have little gold bars that you can collect, and then you can purchase upgrades. So there's things like later stages have these mana potions that you can match up, and then it'll give you magic, and then you can use your skills that you've gained. So you have this slug that like kills off an entire line, and that helps you in the puzzle. But yeah, for the most part, it's a so-so. Doesn't set the world on fire, but again, no money.
Right, free.
Yeah.
Not all of these free games that they're giving you are like, unique indie studio games. There have been a few free ones that have been big hits in the past.
The first month they did Wipeout HD. That was the free full game for the first month.
And that was awesome because I've never played it and I never bought it. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'm already getting something I want.
You want to move on to PS1?
That'll work.
PS1
yeah, PS1 games.
Sure.
For free.
This month they released 2 Extreme, spelled 2X and then Treem. PS1 game about actually a racing game where you can, I think there's 4 different environments and then 4 different vehicles: a bicycle, a snowboard, roller skates, and a skateboard. And it reminds me a lot of the old sort of like the Outrun series, or maybe Rad Racer from even further back, except that, these being extreme sports or means of transportation, you can jump over things, and they have sort of Mario Kart type power-ups that you can pick up and then run faster. I think Siphon Filter was the third PlayStation classic.
Siphon Filter came out. You can't say that's not a classic.
Yeah, exactly. And this one was also free. There was one PlayStation Network game this month that was free, and that was Mushroom Wars.
Oh yes, Mushroom Wars.
It is. Oh my gosh, I played the demo when it first was released.
Right.
Probably, I don't know, almost a year ago, and it is very fun. I think first impressions will tell you, oh, these guys, they saw Pixel Junk Monsters and they thought, wow, those guys are making a lot of money. Let's just copy their idea and then make our own thing, except we'll use mushrooms instead of unidentified little monsters. And it's totally not the case. It is actually, it looks kind of like a Pixel Junk game, but it's actually a real-time strategy game stripped down to its very core. Building troops, figuring out when to send them where.
Okay.
And it is extremely, I guess, addicting because it's very challenging.
Really?
The computer does not let up. There's some levels where you have, your objective will be like to capture all of the bases on the map. So you don't build any bases, they're all there already, and you just tell your troops which ones you want them to go to. And if there's people there, if the computers, mushrooms are there, you have to send enough to kill all of them in there in order to take that hut. And then there's upgrading weapons, there's like these defense towers that you can capture, and they have automated turrets on them.
Very cool.
It is a really cool game. So hard. Oh my gosh. I spent many hours trying to beat level 12, I think. This one I highly recommend.
Especially since it's free.
Even if you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Even outside of this discussion, if you have to pay for Mushroom Wars, you should get it.
Get it.
It is very good.
That was one thing I was going to say. The free games aren't free forever on the PlayStation Plus program.
Right.
They stay free for whatever time period they're released in. And when the next upgrade comes, typically, that's when they're like, okay, you need to hurry up and download this if you haven't done it already. And that's the nice thing, is that they remind you, they send you notices that say, you know, this is free for only this much longer. It shows up on the page anyway. And
Yeah.
it's
I guess another part that we haven't really mentioned, which is pretty exciting stuff, is the full game trials.
yes.
This is basically they let you download an entire game, and so far these have been disc-based games, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. Infamous was the first one, and this month they let people download Red Faction Guerrilla.
Yes.
And non-Plus subscribers can also download the full games, but Plus subscribers get a full hour free trial of the game.
That's pretty cool. So they cut out the unnecessary options of the game to make them a palatable file size. Like, you're not going to get a 30 gigabyte download.
And the difference between a full game trial and a demo of like the first hour of the game is that it's the full game. So when I loaded it, it actually loaded my old Infamous saves.
That's cool.
And it's like, oh, cool! I can pick up where I left off because I don't have my disc with me right now.
Oh, well, that's pretty handy.
It's neat stuff.
Also included in PlayStation Plus is the feature for automatic downloading. And don't go crazy. It's only a certain type of automatic downloading. If a game that you play regularly has an update, like a patch or something, you can set up your PlayStation 3 to turn itself on at a certain time of the day, as long as you've got internet connectivity there. And it will automatically search through the games that you've got. I guess the game data that's stored on your hard drive is how it tells. It'll search through that and see if any recent patches have been released, and if they have, it'll go ahead and start downloading it. And then that way, while you're gone or while you're asleep, whatever time frame you choose it to do the update, when you come back to play again, the download will be finished, and you don't have to do it yourself. It's pretty neat.
And that was our look at August offerings for PlayStation Plus. See you next time. In the meantime, though, check us out on iTunes. Search Aimless Podcast.
You can subscribe to the podcast there.
Good advice. Otherwise, we also have a Facebook page. Also, search Aimless Podcast. You can like us there. And finally, we have our own website, aimlesspodcast.com. In all these instances, it's Aimless Podcast, plural, and no space.
Just all one word.
Or you can also subscribe to our website. Podcast is also there. So, check us out. So until next time, this is TigerFox and Trioptical signing off.
Hey, and I'll be there. I'll get your back.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll back you.
And let's go. Transition wipe.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
You were saying, what mushroom hut? And then it cut out. So, whatever mushroom hut.